These colossal vessels have formidable firepower and cutting-edge technology, from aircraft carriers that serve as floating air bases to stealth destroyers equipped with advanced weaponry. Each warship on this list is a testament to the military might that rules the high seas. Join me for today's video. We're counting down the top 15 most powerful warships in the world. Number 15. The Congo Class Destroyer. The Congo Class destroyer hail from Japan, and they are a formidable presence in Japan's naval fleet. The heart of their power lies in something called the Aegis Combat System. Now, this technology is American, so the creation of these ships was a collaborative effort between Japan and the United States. The system allows the ship to detect, track, and engage multiple targets at the same time, so this powerful ship is a potent defensive asset. To intercept and decimate ballistic missiles in their mid-course phase, the ship employs the SM-3 missile defense system. Now, they're also equipped with air defense systems and anti-ship missiles. This class of destroyer has seen their fair share of action. They've been actively deployed for various missions where they've showcased their reliability and effectiveness. They were initially built as guided missile destroyers for the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, or the JMSDF. Later, though, they received a significant upgrade. They were equipped with ballistic missile defense capability. The lead ship of the class, the JS Congo, is named after Mount Congo, a 3,600-foot mountain in Osaka Prefecture in Japan. The ship can travel at speeds of 30 knots and can accommodate a crew of around 300. They've got a length of about 528 feet and a beam of 68 feet, and roughly 7,200 tons of displacement. These warships were built and designed by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries and IHI Corporation in Japan, two companies who are no strangers to warship creation. Today, this class of destroyers showcased Japan's commitment to procuring a robust naval force. Number 14. The Kirov class battlecruisers. In the expanse of the world's oceans, there exists a breed of warship that embodies all that is mighty and powerful. Behold the Kirov class battlecruisers. These maritime behemoths cast an imposing silhouette on the water, and with their unparalleled firepower, they're the epitome of naval supremacy. They were designed during the heyday of the Soviet era, and they were designed with one simple purpose in mind: to reign supreme over the seas. The Soviet Union was determined to assert their dominance in naval warfare, and hence the Kirov-class battlecruisers were born. Ranging in displacement from approximately 24 to 28,000 tons and stretching about 826 feet in length, these vessels exude an air of invincibility. But what makes them true titans of the seas is not just their size, it's their arsenal. They're armed to the hilt with an array of missile systems, including surface-to-air and anti-ship missiles. These cruisers could obliterate targets from really far distances. They are fast, too, with a nuclear propulsion system. When traveling at full speed, these warships cruised around 30 knots. The class also served as flagships, and they sailed the seas with unwavering authority. Historically, they played a role in the Cold War by prowling the waters and reminding all of the Soviets' dominance. They instilled both respect and fear among adversaries, a silent but potent force on the water. As guardians of the Russian fleet, the Kirov class defined power, and although they're a little on the old side today, they still stand sentinel in the Russian Navy fleet. They maintain a presence in some vital regions, still projecting power. Majestic and massive, these warships continue to inspire admiration, awe, and a feeling of foreboding with their ominous presence at sea. Number 13. USS Iowa. Although we have some pretty impressive and powerful warships sailing the seas today, the past has brought us some equally powerful ships. And while technology continues to improve the capabilities of warships, when it comes to sheer power, well, the warships of World War II deserve a shout-out. One of the most powerful and iconic ships of that time is the USS Iowa. This historic warship was revered for its power, and even though it's not in service anymore, it hasn't lost its place amongst the greatest and strongest ships of all time. The ship belonged to the Iowa class of battleships, a class of ships known for their unparalleled firepower in the roles they played during World War II. The USS Iowa was commissioned in 1943, and upon completion, this warship was one of the most powerful battleships of its time. With a displacement of around 45,000 tons, a length of 887 feet, and a beam of about 108 feet, the USS Iowa was a powerhouse of the seas. It was propelled by 4 steam turbines that generated over 212 shaft horsepower, and all the Iowa-class battleships were capable of reaching speeds in excess of 30 knots. It was armed with 9 16-inch main guns in 3 turrets, and as a battleship it also carried a wide array of secondary armament, like anti-aircraft guns and torpedo tubes. What makes the USS Iowa so iconic, though, along with its power, was the ship's involvement during several significant operations during World War II. The ship provided gunfire support during amphibious landings in the Pacific, but one of the most notable moments in the ship's history was when it served as the flagship for President Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Tehran Conference in 1943. Unlike a lot of other World War II ships, though, the USS Iowa continued to serve past the war. The ship was in active duty during the Korean War, and later it served as a vessel for training exercises. Today, the USS Iowa is a museum ship. It's located in Los Angeles, California in the United States and is part of the Pacific Battleship Center. As a floating museum, the ship welcomes visitors aboard to explore its decks and learn about its history and involvement in various historical conflicts. Number 12. Horizon Class Destroyers. Naval innovation and firepower. These two words best describe this powerful Horizon Class destroyer. As a joint project between Italy's Fincantieri and France's naval group, the Horizon-class destroyer showcases the best that both countries have to offer in all things warship. As far as specs go, the Horizon-class destroyers are 501 feet long with a 67-foot beam and a displacement of around 7,000 tons. They're using a combined diesel, electric, and gas propulsion system that allows them to reach speeds in excess of 29 knots. The destroyers can typically accommodate a crew of around 210 personnel, and when it comes to armament, these destroyers are equipped to do just that, destroy. They feature the Principal Anti-Air Missile Systems, or PAMS for short. This system allows the ships to intercept multiple aerial threats simultaneously. And they also feature Aster anti-air missiles and anti-ship missiles, torpedoes, and a whole whack of other weaponry. And to reduce that pesky radar cross-section, the ship's got stealth technology. As mentioned, both France and Italy collaborated on the creation of these warships, and as such, there are variations between the two, although they all share the same common core design. The variations reflect the specific requirements of each nation, and needless to say, a project of this magnitude didn't come easy. It faced its fair share of challenges and setbacks, including delays and cost overruns. In the end, though, the project was successful, and today the Horizon-class destroyers are known for their sleek, modern design, as well as their advanced capability. Number 11. Mistral Class Amphibious Assault Ship. If you're looking for a powerful yet versatile warship, then look no further than our friend, the Mistral Class Amphibious Assault Ship. Just like amphibious creatures, frogs, toads, and salamanders, this Mistral Class Amphibious Assault Ship is designed to do both land and water things. It is a multi-purpose vehicle with a plethora of roles that really shines during the amphibious operations. Well, what are amphibious operations, you ask? Well, in a nutshell, amphibious operations are a military maneuver or mission that involve the coordinated movement of armed forces from sea to land. Just like frogs, amphibious operations hop from water to solid ground. They often involve ship-to-shore movement of troops, equipment, and supplies, and they can vary vastly in their complexity. For example, the Mistral-class amphibious assault ship is often tasked with carrying troops and vehicles to amphibious operations. It can also function as a helicopter carrier, as it can accommodate several helicopters for a wide variety of missions, including reconnaissance, support missions, search and rescue, or aerial assault. The ship even features a well deck so it can deploy vehicles and landing craft swiftly when needed. Additionally, the warship exhibits modularity, so with a few changes in configuration, the ship's able to adapt to the requirements of whatever mission it's being sent on. Because these ships are so versatile, they've been used in a wide range of humanitarian efforts by evacuating people and delivering aid to natural disasters. They also house joint military exercises and training programs for naval forces. The platform also has a combined diesel, electric, and gas propulsion system, a displacement of roughly 21,000 tons, and a length of 653 feet. They're not the fastest warship out there, traveling at a top speed of roughly 18 knots, but they weren't designed for speed. This Mistral class originally belonged to France, but they've been exported to several countries around the world, which highlights their global naval appeal. Number 10. The Seong the Great Class Destroyers. It may seem a bit egotistical to name your fleet of destroyers great, but that's exactly what South Korea has done with their Seong the Great Class destroyers. Now, in all fairness though, these warships are pretty great. They're actually named after the illustrious King Seong the Great, and these powerful warships employ some pretty impressive cutting-edge tech. These Titan destroyers weigh in at around 11,000 tons and stretch approximately 541 feet in length. But aside from their impressive specs, these destroyers are technological powerhouses. Their design is a product of South Korea's Hyundai Heavy Industries and Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering, and they truly embody South Korea's prowess in naval engineering. With a propulsion system that combines gas turbines, these ships cruise across the waves at speeds surpassing 30 knots, a speed which leaves many other ships in their wake. They're also equipped with an array of sophisticated radar and missile systems, including anti-ship, anti-aircraft, and anti-submarine weaponry. This gives them the ability to tackle pretty much any challenge that dares come their way. But what truly sets apart the Seong the Great Class destroyers is their adaptability. They're designed to dominate in air defense, anti-ship, and anti-submarine missions, and their state-of-the-art sensors make them a true boss when it comes to situational awareness. Much like the monarch that they were named for, King Seong the Great was known for being a visionary and an avid contributor to the realms of science, technology, and culture. These ships are innovative and progressive. In fact, the Seong the Great Class stand at the forefront of technological advancement. They've made their presence known not just in the Asia-Pacific region, but also globally. They've earned recognition from all over the world for their power, sophistication, and adaptability. Number 9. The Admiral Burke Class destroyers. Picture this, a massive destroyer that weighs in at around 9,200 tons and stretches a whopping 508 feet in length. Engineered with 4 General Electric gas turbines and generating over 100,000 total shaft horsepower, just imagine what this destroyer would look like as it zips through the waves. Well, luckily you don't have to use your imagination, because here comes the Admiral Burke Class destroyer, a powerful warship that sits amongst some of the best destroyers in the world. Armament? You bet. These destroyers come armed with the Aegis combat system, vertical launch system, Tomahawk missiles, and a stash of anti-submarine warfare systems. Is a sub lurking in the depths of the ocean? Not a problem. An aerial assault from above? This ship's got it covered. Surface warfare? Check. Whether it be in the air, on the surface, and deep in the water, the Admiral Burke Class destroyers can take it on. And thanks to the Aegis combat system, they can do it all simultaneously. Furthermore, they're equipped with the Spy-1 radar, so they've pretty much got eyes everywhere. No adversary is going to slip by unnoticed. Ballistic missile defense, anti-sub operations, anti-air warfare. These destroyers aren't picky, which is why they've become a real go-to for Navy experts. And speaking of Navy experts, the ship are named after one. Admiral Burke was known for his leadership and game-changing contributions, and these ships live up to their namesake. They refuse to become stagnant. Continuous modernization keeps these destroyers ahead of the curve in naval capabilities. They also refuse to be confined to U.S. waters. This class of destroyer is also known for globe-trotting, where they conduct maritime security operations and protect vital sea lines. Needless to say, these powerful warships set the bar pretty high when it comes to yielding power and advanced technology, which is why they're not just warships, they're symbols of naval superiority. Number 8. The Type 055 destroyer. The Type 055 destroyer, or the Renhai-class guided missile destroyer as it's also known, is a modern warship. It was developed by China's People's Liberation Army Navy, or PLAN, and is recognized for its advanced capability. With a displacement of between 13 and 14,000 tons, depending on the specific ship, a length of roughly 590 feet, and a combined gas turbine and electric propulsion system, you better believe the Type 055 destroyer is one of the most powerful warships. The ship can travel at speeds exceeding 30 knots and can welcome upwards of 350 sailors on board. As for armament, the destroyer is equipped with land attack missiles, anti-air and anti-ship missiles, and advanced radar systems. In fact, this ship showcases the technological advancements in China's naval engineering and is revered worldwide as such. It's got some pretty cool tech, which it brags about to other ships. For example, the ships have sophisticated radar systems known as the Type 346B Active Phased Radar Array, or APAR. Because the ship is tasked with missile defense, this radar offers enhanced detection. Now, their extensive arsenal as well as its robust offensive and defensive capabilities have made it a true force to be reckoned with. The ship is designed for multi-mission roles, so it can be sent on air defense missions, shipped out for some surface warfare, or employed to do a little anti-submarine operation. China's been ambitious in their modernization efforts, and they've advanced rapidly in naval technology, as the Type 055 destroyer clearly shows. This warship's been deployed in numerous operations, and now stands as a symbol of China's quest for maritime dominance. Moving on to number 7, the Admiral Gorkov Class frigates. If we're taking a look at the grand theater of maritime might, then I would be amiss if I didn't take a close look at the Admiral Gorkov Class frigates. If you're not familiar with this wonderful world of frigates, don't worry, I got you covered. Frigates are a type of warship that falls between larger destroyers and smaller corvettes in terms of size, role, and capability. They're known for their good speed and maneuverability. They can easily navigate both coastal waters and open seas, so they're pretty versatile. They take on a wide variety of roles and can often be seen escorting and protecting larger ships, sort of like a warship sidekick. They conduct anti-submarine warfare, support maritime security and patrols, and provide humanitarian aid during crisis. They're also in the anti-piracy business, so they're a far cry from a one-trick pony. Now, when it comes to powerful frigates, the Admiral Gorkov class features some of the best frigates around. They stand tall as exemplary symbols of Russia's cutting-edge naval prowess. Part ship, part floating fortress, they have everything that a truly powerful warship needs to succeed. They've got a displacement of around 54 to 5,600 tons, and they stretch about 426 feet in length and 52 feet in beam. They're powered by a combined gas turbine and diesel system, which allows them to rip across the waves at about 20 knots. They can accommodate around 210 people on their high-tech deck, but what really sets these frigates apart is their sleek stealth features. They utilize state-of-the-art stealth technology, which allows them to minimize their radar signature and enhance their survivability, making them less detectable. And with their wide array of missiles, this class of frigates pack a punch in both defense and offense. But let's talk a little tech now, since that's what these frigates are really known for. They've got top-of-the-line electronic warfare systems, radar, and weaponry, and as such, the prowess of these frigates is not limited to Russia's borders alone. In fact, several of these class frigates have been exported. India's acquired multiple vessels, which proves that these frigates have international appeal. Number 6. The Akazuki class destroyer. The Akazuki class destroyers are known for their sophistication. Now, not to be confused with the class of destroyers with the same name from World War II, these new and improved Akazukis are everything a destroyer should be. Boasting a modern design and advanced capability, these ships operate within the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. They're roughly 495 feet long and weigh around 6,800 tons. Now, like all destroyers, the Akazuki class destroyer has a lot of weaponry, but most notable, they're equipped with the SM-2 and ESSM missiles. This ensures that they can keep up a good defense against aerial threats. These destroyers are named after Mount Akazuki in the Hiroshima prefecture. This follows the JMSDF's tradition of naming its destroyers after mountains, which is a nod to Japanese heritage. The Akazuki class of destroyers are used to escort the Hyuga class and Izumo class helicopter destroyers. They also safeguard the other Aegis-capable warships like the Congo and the Atago class. The hull structure for this protective and menacing destroyer was based on the hull from the Takanami class destroyer. Of course, the design was improved upon. For example, the Akazuki class features cleaner lines to reduce the radar signature and decoys for torpedoes. They also have more powerful engines and better sonar. This class destroyer was designed by Japan's Maritime Staff Office, or MSO, and Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. The design work for these ships started in the early 2000s. The last ship of the class, the JS Wakaba, was laid down in 2010 and launched in 2013. And while the destroyers were built to provide Japan with a formidable fleet of powerful warships, they were also constructed in part to modernize Japan's naval fleet. One look at these ships, and suffice it to say, objectives met. Number 5. The Hobart class destroyers. So we're heading down under now to take a look at Australia's Hobart class destroyer. They're often called the pride and joy of the Royal Australian Navy. These high-tech juggernauts aren't your everyday ship. They've got a displacement of around 7,000 tons. As for length, they measure in at about 479 feet long with a beam of about 59 feet. The Aegis combat system is their secret weapon, allowing them to detect and swat down aerial threats and missiles like a seafaring ninja. They are designed for multi-mission excellence, and they don't disappoint. But beyond their high-tech magic, these destroyers serve a very important purpose. They are Australia's maritime defenders. They add muscle to regional security in the Indo-Pacific region and work to safeguard Australia's maritime interests. And as true Australian ships, these destroyers proudly incorporate indigenous Australian technology, like the Nulka active missile decoy system, for example. Nulka is a sophisticated defense system that was developed collaboratively by Australia and the United States. It acts as a ship protection system against anti-ship missiles. By integrating this system into the Hobart class, Australia showcases its emphasis on incorporating homegrown tech into its defense systems. Furthermore, the Hobart class destroyers are equipped with a powerful radar system known as the CFAR Phased Array Radar. It's cutting-edge radar tech that provides exceptional surveillance and tracking capability, so these ships can easily track multiple targets in the air and on the surface of the water with great precision. And the destroyers are named after the city of Hobart. Australia's got a tradition of naming destroyers after Australian capital cities, so these ships proudly carry on that tradition. Number 4. Independence Class Littoral Combat Ships. Designed for near-shore operations, the Independence-class littoral combat ships are like the chameleon of the sea. How so? Well, they can change their look and function in a snap, depending on what's needed from them. Weighing in at 3,000 tons, these versatile warships are around 416 feet long. Like many of the world's most powerful ships, they utilize a combined diesel and gas turbine system, allowing them to make their way across the water at speeds of over 40 knots. These ships belong to the United States Navy, and they came to fruition when the Navy saw a need for a fleet of smaller, agile ships to operate near shore in the littoral zone. For those of you who are not well versed with Navy speak, the littoral zone refers to an area within a certain distance of shore, where ships do stuff like surveillance, mine clearing, and support for landing operations and other types of combat shifting from water to ground. Construction of these ships began in the early 2000s, and the fleet served its purpose well. But the really fascinating component of these ships is their modular design, sort of like giant Lego blocks. These ships are built with a modular mission package system, and this means they can quickly change their roles to suit different needs, including mine countermeasures, anti-submarine warfare, and surface warfare. And because they're modular, they're a very cost-effective solution for littoral warfare. They offer versatility without breaking the bank. Number 3. The Sea Hunter. The Sea Hunter. It might not be the biggest ship on this list, but its power comes from its potential to change the future of naval warfare. How so? Well, the Sea Hunter is an autonomous, unmanned surface vehicle, and its futuristic design is a game-changer in maritime operations. The Sea Hunter was designed by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA for short, as part of the Anti-Submarine Warfare Continuous Trail Unmanned Vessel Program. The vessel first launched in 2016, and the ship has been making waves in the warship world ever since. Sea Hunter weighs approximately 145 tons and stretches about 131 feet in length and 29.5 feet in the beam. This ship operates on a diesel-electric hybrid propulsion system, and it's capable of reaching speeds that exceed 27 knots without a crew. Now, needless to say, Sea Hunter is not your average ship. The ship has top-notch sensors, radar, and a long list of other high-tech gear, all designed for autonomous navigations and surveillance. The ship is built for extended missions at sea, and since it doesn't require a crew, the ship can just keep going and going. Sea Hunter can offer persistent maritime surveillance and reconnaissance. Using its fancy AI and sensor systems, it can do exactly what the name suggests: hunt the seas tirelessly for long periods of time. And because the ship can operate unmanned, it reduces the human risk in operations, which is why the Sea Hunter has been called a harbinger of a new era in naval technology. Relentless, with reduced risk as far as operating crew is concerned, Sea Hunter, it's a powerful warship that's paving the way for a future where unmanned vessels rule the seas. Number 2. The Bismarck. Alright, taking a brief dip into the past with this next entry as we turn our attention to one of the most historically renowned and powerful warships of all time, the Bismarck. The Bismarck was a German battleship that sailed the seas during World War II. The ship launched in 1939 and quickly became a symbol of German naval power, as well as one of the largest battleships ever built by Germany. It was known for its impressive firepower, robust armor, and advanced technology for its time. It was armed with 8 15-inch guns and 4 twin turrets. This powerful beast of a ship could unleash devastating broadsides against enemy vessels, and when it was under attack, it relied on its exceptionally thick armor to provide formidable protection. It had a reputation for engaging in daring and dramatic naval battles. In May 1941, during its maiden voyage, the Bismarck engaged in a fierce battle with the British Royal Navy's Hood and Prince of Wales. During this battle, the Bismarck's guns proved devastating. It sunk the Hood with a single fatal hit. This led to Hood's explosion and loss of nearly all the crew members. From there, the British Navy became determined to sink this mighty ship, and the Bismarck's subsequent pursuit by the British Navy became one of the most significant naval chases in history. She put up a valiant fight even though the odds were overwhelming against her. After a sustained attack by British ships and aircraft, the Bismarck was sunk on May 27, 1941. She had some pretty impressive specs, even by today's standards. Her displacement was about 50,000 tons, fully loaded, and she was around 823 feet long. The propulsion consisted of 3 Blohm+Voss geared steam turbines and 12 Wagner boilers, allowing this behemoth to reach speeds of up to 30 knots. She used her 12 5.9-inch guns in 6 twin turrets for anti-aircraft defense, as well as her 16 4.1-inch aircraft guns. She was also equipped with several smaller caliber anti-aircraft guns and anti-aircraft artillery. Now, for defense, she was heavily armored. She had up to 14 inches of steel plating on her main belt, so the Bismarck was not an easy ship to take down, and she could accommodate a lot of personnel, around 2,500 to be exact, which speaks to just how big this ship really was. She was capable of long-range operations with a range of about 8,500 nautical miles at about 19 knots. Her lethal combination of firepower, speed, and armor made her a significant and widely feared threat to enemy naval forces. The historical battles this ship was involved in are all still studied today, as this powerful warship had a significant impact on the war. As such, even though she rests in a watery grave, the legacy of the Bismarck lives. To this day, the behemoth Bismarck remains an iconic symbol of naval power. Number 1. The USS Zumwalt. The USS Zumwalt is what other warships aspire to be: massive, sleek, and oh so powerful. When this ship cruises by, the other ships shudder in its wake. The Zumwalt is easily recognizable for its futuristic appearance. Its angular shape and stealth features set it apart from traditional naval vessels. Truly, the USS Zumwalt is an exceptional destroyer, and it's a beast of a ship that belongs to the United States Navy. It was designed to revolutionize naval warfare through its cutting-edge technology and innovative features. She's got a displacement of approximately 15,000 tons. It's 610 feet long and features an integrated electric propulsion system powered by gas turbines and electric drives. The Zumwalt can travel at speeds of 30 knots and can accommodate a crew of about 140 sailors. It's equipped with some pretty powerful armaments, too. Its advanced gun system, or AGS, with long-range precision projectiles can strike targets up to 80 nautical miles away with precision. It also has got a vertical launch system, or VLS, for various missiles, and anti-submarine warfare capability. The USS Zumwalt was designed by the United States Navy and built by General Dynamics Bath Iron Works. To make it harder to detect, the ship has a composite deck house that reduces its radar cross-section. It also has a wave-piercing tumble-home hull. Now, this ship is designed for a variety of missions, including land attack, littoral dominance, and anti-ship and anti-warfare. The ship was named after Admiral Elmo Zumwalt, who was the youngest chief of naval operations and a reformer in the U.S. Navy. Originally, there were supposed to be 32 of these bad boys built, but due to budget constraints, only 3 were finished. The USS Zumwalt is the lead ship of its class, and it represents a significant leap in naval technology and capability. It also represents the best of the best when it comes to power, which is why the USS Zumwalt has warred its way into the top spot on this list of the top 15 most powerful warships. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you to our channel members.